Now the next concept to understand is the floral symmetry. Now symmetry, we all know that when you divide into two equal half, if it is dividing into equal half, it is symmetrical. If it is not possible to divide into equal halves, it would be called asymmetrical. In ninth class, you have done this concept of radial symmetry and bilateral symmetry in the case of the animal kingdom, or that diversity in the living organism. That chapter you have done this concept of radial and bilateral symmetry. So let's understand how symmetry is found in the case of the flowers. So the symmetry found in the floral organs around the axis, how they are arranged, is called as the floral symmetry. So the arrangement of the floral organs around the axis. Now which axis is that? That axis is the mother axis, if you remember, which I told you is represented as a dot in the floral formula, mother axis. So the arrangement of the floral organs around the arrangement of the floral organs around the axis of a flower is called as the floral symmetry, and the shoot on which the flower is born is called as the mother axis. So flower will have arrangement around the axis, and then there will be the posterior most side, which is called as the mother axis. You remember mother axis. This side is called as the posterior side of the flower. So when a flower develops, if this is the shoot, and if a flower is developing here, so this side is called as posterior, and the flower would be here, so this side would be called as anterior, and these two sides would be called as the lateral side. So when you see a flower, when you pluck a flower, you will forget which side was closer to the stem. That's why we put a dot. This dot represents that this is the side which was closer to the stem, and that closer side of the stem is called in biology as the posterior side. So what is posterior side? I hope this point is clear to you. Posterior side represents the mother axis side, and according to the floral symmetry, three types are possible. So flowers can be either called as actinomorphic, or flowers can be called as zygomorphic, or flowers can be called as asymmetrical. So these are symmetrical flowers of two types, and these are asymmetrical flowers. So the side of the flower towards mother axis is called as the posterior side, and the side away is called anterior side. So you have learned this much. Now there are three types of floral symmetry possible. Either it will be actinomorphic, or it would be zygomorphic, otherwise it will be asymmetrical type. So if the symmetry is radial, now what is radial symmetry? When you see a flower from top, imagine a flower is there, like in the case of roses, or in the case of Solanaceae family or China rose family, from the flower can be cut into two equal halves from any plane, but from the center. By any plane, you can cut through any plane. Such type of symmetry is called as radial symmetry, and in biology such flowers are called as actinomorphic. Actino stands for ray, and morphic means, you know very well, morphology. So a flower which appears to be radiating from the center equal everywhere is called as the radial symmetry. So radial symmetry is found in the actinomorphic flower. Is a cyclic flower which has, remember these flowers are cyclic type of flowers. So a cyclic flower which can be divided into two equal vertical halves by any vertical plane, but remember passing through the center, is called as the actinomorphic flower, and this has a radial symmetry, and such flowers are basically belonging to Solanaceae family, or otherwise Malvaceae family, Rutaceae family. Rutaceae is for citrus. So maximum flowers around us will show actinomorphic symmetry. Then the second most abundant is the zygomorphic type of symmetry. Now what is zygomorphic? A flower which can be divided into two equal halves only by one plane. Such flowers are called as zygomorphic flowers. And remember, such flowers will show only bilateral. Bilateral means right and left, like the human body. Human body is not radial in symmetry. Human body is bilateral in symmetry. So there are flowers like in the case of the family of Labiata, that means Tulsi family or Fabaceae or beans family or Matar family. In these flowers you will find the flower appears to be, this is the way the flower of a pea plant of Fabaceae look like. Now when you see the flower of a pea, you will find the petals are arranged like this. Now it cannot be divided into two equal halves like this. It is only possible to divide in this manner. So right side and left side, these are the only two symmetrical sides possible. So same goes with the Labiatae family of Tulsi. So in these plants you will find the flower can only be divided into two equal halves, passing through one plane and giving rise to right and left symmetrical sides. Such flowers will have bilateral symmetry, and such flowers are called as zygomorphic flowers. Example salvia, example ocimum, example pisum. Now the third type is the acyclic. So remember, these are two types of cyclic flowers, and this is the acyclic one. Now what are acyclic flowers? Those flowers which are asymmetrical are called as acyclic flowers, and they cannot be divided into two equal halves by any vertical plane. Example opuntia, example canna. There are many other plants also in which flowers cannot be divided into two equal halves. So from every corner they appear different. That's why there is no symmetry, and they are called as asymmetrical flowers. Now this brings us to the topic of regular and irregular flower. Just remember, there are some plants in which the floral parts of each whorl will have same size and shape and color. Such flowers are called as regular flowers. So regular flowers will have every, like if petals are there, all petals are same. If sepals are there, all sepals will be same in shape and color. But there are some plants in which there are irregularities. So some sepals may be different, some petals may be different. Example Dalbergia, example is the Dillonyx regia. Like in the case of Gulmohar ka ped, you will find one of the petal will be white in color and all other petals are orange red in color. So because one petal is different, it is called as irregular flower. Similarly goes with Musenda. In Musenda you will find all sepals are green in color except one sepal will be bright in color. So these will be called as irregular